Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? How was your weekend? Mine was fantastic. The artwork is done. Got the art project finished. I was hoping to get 100 pulls off of this block. I ended up getting 99 or 95 that were usable. I think usable is a very I probably should have. So the block got saturated, and by around like print 60, there started to be a lot of ghosting because what was happening was the top of the block wasn't inked, but the paper was being pressed into the valleys, and there was ink in there, and so it started to get bad, and I needed to wash the block, but I didn't have time. I ran out of time. I needed to get it done, and it's done. And in fact, it's been done. This got done last weekend. I don't know if you noticed, all last week the bench was clean because this was a finished project. Because this past week I was on the Flogging Molly Salty Dog cruise for the second time. We went last year and we had such an amazing time. We immediately rebooked. And so this art project was an art project for the cruise because people on the cruise like to do a swag swap. They print stickers, they have wristbands, 3D prints, artwork, buttons, all kinds of stuff. And people, when you meet people, you swap swag. And we didn't know that last year when we went, and we got on the boat, and there was people, like this crowd of people that we had to push past to get to our cabin. We're just shoving stuff in our hands, and we didn't know what was going on. And so this year I decided to do an art print. I thought it'd be really fun to do like a traditional black and white art print, and that's what I did. I did it on cherry. I could have done it on linoleum, and I probably should have, but I did it on cherry. This is a traditional material that the Japanese artists would have used, cherry wood, and it is a very good wood to carve. It carves really well. That being said, this did not turn out nearly as nice as I was hoping. The writing turned out, I guess if you know that this cruise is called the Salty Dog Cruise, then you'll be able to recognize what the words say. Otherwise, you'd be like a Sally Dogsy. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I didn't do a great job with that. There's a lot of slips, so there's places where letters are cut or other things are cut. I don't mind that so much. I think that kind of adds a little bit to the character. But I just didn't get the definition that I was hoping to get. I should have tried a little harder, I think, but I ran out of time. You know, I started this project literally. I started this artwork over a year ago. I didn't have it finalized until probably this spring. I started working on making a new press. Hold on. I made this thing a couple of years ago. This goes in my drill press, and I can use it as a manual printing press. And so I had plans to make one out of metal. I have all of the metal components, and I was going to weld it up. I just never got around to doing that. So I ran out of time. Like I should have been working on this over the last year. Instead, I was just kind of waiting. I had ordered these baggies. I had ordered the cardboard. I'd ordered all this stuff so that I would be ready. And then I just, of course, as always, last minuted this thing together. I spent a good 6 hours on this carving, but it needs another probably 5 or more hours to get it good. It's not great. It needs a lot of work. And like I said, I shouldn't have tried. I did it in 2 sessions. I did all the pulls in 2 sessions. I probably should have done 4 or 5 sessions and washed the block in between, but then I would have needed to wait on the block to dry. I would have, it just would have taken too long. So trying to get 50 pulls at once just made some of these really difficult, like really saturated or really blown out, just not good. That's okay. It took a lot of iterations. The original artwork was very, um, well, what I got is much thicker line art, much less delicate. I intended for it to be much more delicate. That didn't work out. I did quite a few test prints and recuts. There's, I mean, just dozens of recut sample. Like I missed a line here. There's a print that has, I don't know if you can see it, but it has just a whole lot of an area that needed to be recarved and recut or whatever. I spent a good amount of time on it. I just didn't do good enough. And in fact, after the first cut, I printed it, and I don't know that I have that first cut here, but I was like, man, the wording is just impossible to read. The letters are blown out. Nothing makes sense. I really screwed up. I don't think this is savable. And I made the decision at that point, like, I'm going to redo this in linoleum. Because I knew that I could carve the linoleum much faster, and I could get a much cleaner print out of it, and I could get finer details without slipping as much, because I could just use a knife to carve all of my, whatever. I should have probably done that. I started to. I took my artwork and I put a new piece of carbon paper on it, and I got a linoleum block the right size, and I put it down and I traced this thing, and near the end I folded it back to see how I had done, and how I had done was I had the carbon paper on upside down, so none of my artwork transferred. I got pissed off and said, screw it, I'm just going to finish this. I finished this, I got the 100 pulls, and here we are. This was actually done last week, and I'm actually not home yet. This is pre-recorded, so all of last week was pre-recorded. This episode is also pre-recorded. I'll probably be home at the time this comes out, or shortly thereafter. So that's why I still have these. I have 100 of these, and hopefully I had a good time handing them out on the ship. I'm sure you'll hear about that for the rest of the week. But just wanted to say this chapter is closed. Artwork done. What did you get up to this weekend? I am sure that I partied and had a great time, because I was on a boat with like 2,000 punk rockers listening to punk music and drinking whiskey. Let me know what you did in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is sultry. It is an adjective meaning in terms of weather, hot and humid with little or no breeze. In terms of human behavior, suggestive of passion or smoldering sexuality. Bareheaded in the sultry sun, Ahab stood on the bowsprit. Herman Melville, an American author. Sultry, S-U-L-T-R-Y. I honestly don't know that I've ever heard sultry used outside of a sexual reference. Have you? Besides the one I just read?